cause, will be the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Have a seat over here. Adjust the microphone if you need to.
May I proceed?
Please.
Would you tell us your name, please? My name is Huy Nguyen. That's Huyngguyen.
And what do you do for a living, sir?
I'm currently a special agent with the FBI in San Antonio.
How long have you been with the San Antonio FBI office?
I got to the San Antonio division in 2012.
And what do you do for the FBI?
I'm a human agent. What I do is I go out and collect informants. But one of my auxiliary duties is also evidence response team.
And would you tell us what an evidence response team is?
The evidence response team is a crime scene team, right? We go out and we process crime scene, collect evidence, take photographs, write reports, and present it to juries and law enforcement.
And prior to working for the FBI, could you tell us what your background was?
I worked for 10 years with the Texas DPS Crime Laboratory as a DNA analyst. Then from there, I went to the FBI in 2004.
And what is a DPS analyst with the FBI? I mean, with the DPS, excuse me.
So there's several different types of forensic scientists with the DPS Crime Lab. Some do drug analysis, some do alcohol analysis. I did DNA analysis, meaning I worked with body fluids to determine the origin and match them to suspects or victims.
When you started working as the evidence collection team, is there any special training that goes along with that, or is it all experience?
It's a combination of both, right? You get certified in the beginning. For the FBI, there's a 2-week course close to Quantico, Virginia. You go there and you learn all the basics of forensics, crime scene reconstruction.
And could you also tell us about your familiarity with firearms and ammunition?
Well, I'm currently a special agent, so I do carry a firearm. I've been trained in the use of firearms.
And as far as ammunition at a crime scene, what kind of parts of ammunition is important to you as you collect evidence at a crime scene?
Well, when you go to a crime scene, you look for anything that's, maybe shouldn't be there or is pertinent to the scene. So in this instance, regarding the question, spent casings, right? When a bullet gets fired, the casing is left behind. The casing could have evidence on there that could identify the gun. If the bullet that gets shot could be used to identify also what type of ammunition was used. So all this evidence can be linked together and provide like a profile of what happened.
And just generally, how is ammunition classified, or bullets, casings, cartridges? You said you can identify it. Can you identify it by caliber?
Oh, sure. So they come in different sizes, right? The calibers. You can identify them by it's mainly the caliber, how powerful the weapon would be, whether or not you can fire it from a pistol or a rifle. Just the marks that are left on the casing after it's fired, whether it's rim fire or center fired. So there's different characteristics you can look at with ammunition.
And also, do the manufacturers of those casings, do they attach their symbols or emblems to the casings?
Typically, yes, on the around the rim of the casing.
Okay. So that can also tell you whether or not a similar round has been fired multiple times as opposed to different types of ammunition. Is that correct?
Well, if you see a bunch of casings on the ground at a crime scene, you can probably link them together by the manufacturer. Sometimes they have a number on it, which also corresponds to could be the year that it was manufactured. So you can take a look and see if the rounds are similar that way.
And based on your work, are you familiar generally with the difference between a rifle casing and a pistol casing?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, the size of it.
By size alone. And describe for us the difference in the sizes.
Well, if you take a pistol, like a handgun, it's the casings the bullets are much smaller, right? And they could be wider. The rifle rounds, depending on the caliber, are typically longer and more narrow than a pistol round.
And tell me, there's been a little bit of discussion about when you find a casing, is there any scientific specificity as to when you find a casing that tells you where the shooter is?
Oh, okay, so you're asking where I find the casing, could I tell where a shooter could possibly be? Is that the
Yes.
question? So if a round is fired, from a semi-automatic, right, a gun that will automatically eject the casing. So when somebody shoots a gun, the bullet will be propelled out of the gun, correct? The casing is left behind. The casing is what holds the gunpowder, okay? The casing will get ejected out and get tossed, depending on the gun, depending on how much gunpowder is in it, it'll get tossed a certain distance away. So typically, when you see casing on the ground, you can sort of guess as to how far away a shooter could be from that.
But there's a lot of things that affect being specific about that. Is that correct?
Sure, if a casing hits the grass, it's not going to roll anywhere. If it hits concrete, it can bounce. It could roll away. If it's on a gradient, it could roll down. So a lot of things, you got to factor the whole condition of the scene.
Fair enough. Does the position of the gun when the casing is ejected, does that also affect where the casing would end up?
The position of the gun.
How the gun is being held, I suppose is a better way to say it.
Well, the ejection port on a gun is usually on the right-hand side of the gun, right? So if you hold a gun here, the casing is going to get ejected to the right. So how the gun is held, I guess if you mean if it's pointed up or pointed forward.
Let me kind of demonstrate. So
Okay.
if you point the normal gun straight ahead, the ejection usually is to the right.
Yes.
Since I'm left-handed, that means it comes to my face, right?
Well, it'll come away to the right, not at your face.
But by the same token, if you turn the gun down, would that affect where the gun was in comparison to where the casing ends up?
Okay, so if you shoot with the gun sideways, so the ejection port is pointed down, that's where the casing is going to get ejected. It's not going to go as far if it was pointed with the ejection port going this way, right? It would go out, pointed down, it would go down.
And by the same token, if the ejection point is pointed more up, that's going to change the trajectory too.
How far the casing would go?
Yes.
Possibly, yes.
Okay. And so as far as being very specific, do you believe we can be very specific about where a casing lands as to where the gun was fired that left that casing?
I wouldn't say specific. I'd say more generally you would know where the shooter would probably be at, but I don't think you can say with a definite degree, oh, he has to be standing right here.
And if you have a grouping of casings in a specific point, that assists too, I suppose.
Yeah, a grouping of casings in the same area together gives you a better idea rather than just one casing, okay? Because there's multiple shots being fired and they all land in the same spot. Well, typically the shooter would be around that radius, or, distance around that, the casings.
And I want to move to the second stage then, after the casing is originally deposited.
Mm-hmm.
Are there things that affect its movement thereafter?
Well, like I said, if you're on a gradient, it could roll down. If it's on grass, it's going to stay right there because the grass is going to keep it from rolling. If somebody comes along and kicks it, so there could be other factors that could have influenced where it could be by the time we get there to see it.
Okay. And so if it's a high trafficked area, then that could also affect where the casing started versus where it was when you picked it up.
Yeah, the time between when it was shot and the time that when we get there, anything that goes through that scene could change how that scene is.
And did you investigate a scene on or about May 24th, 2022?
We did.
And what scene was that?
It was at Robb Elementary in Uvalde.
And how did you get involved in that investigation?
I was actually in San Antonio at the time, and I was the acting team leader for our team. got a phone call saying, hey, our assistance is being requested to go out to Uvalde to process a scene.
And did you do that?
Yes.
And when did you get there?
By the time we mobilized, let's see, this is approximate. It takes about, an hour and 15, depending on how fast you drive, from San Antonio to Uvalde. So we probably got there closer to around 2 o'clock, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
And can you describe the scene as just in general terms when you got there?
Lots of police cars, lots of activity. We're trying to figure out where to go. First, we were told to go to the hospital to pick up evidence from victims there, and then plans changed, and we were told to head to the elementary school, and that's where we went. And then we, tried to figure out where do we begin? What are our taskings? What is being asked of us, right? So we were being asked to support the Texas Rangers, and we were asked to process the outside of the school.
And did you do that?
Yes.
Would you tell us how you did it?
Well, it's a pretty large property, the school with the grounds of the school. So what we did was we have to take photographs first, right? Before we start anything, we take photographs of the general scene. In order to start looking for evidence, because we were looking for casings, right? We knew the general idea of what happened. So our main focus was, okay, let's find the casings. We knew where there was this truck on the far side of the school. So we started from there, did a line search. And what that means is you stretch out in a line. We get all your personnel in a line, and you slowly walk together, and everybody's looking down at the ground to see if they can find any evidence. And if you find anything, you place a flag there so that we can come back to it later. Before we pick up any evidence, we take a picture of it in place so we know what it looks like. And we take it like medium range, long range, close up. So we have an idea of where the evidence is in relation to the rest of the scene, right? So there's a lot of documentation before we actually pick up the evidence.
But as far as the flags and the photographs, that accurately depicts where y'all saw it at the time or before it was picked up.
Yes.
You can't tell us what happened to it if it was kicked or moved around beforehand, but as far as the photographs, they're going to accurately tell us where you located them. Is that correct?
The flags indicate exactly where we saw it when we got there at that time.
Okay. May I approach for a second, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Could you step?
Okay.
I'll give you just a second to orient the ditch that you were talking about, where the truck was. Robb Elementary School, the fourth grade wings, south grounds, and the west grounds.
Okay.
Do you recall that scene?
Yes.
Okay. And if you use this pointer, and we do have jurors go all the way across, so that's why I have the pointer, so maybe you can scoot over just a touch from it. Could you show the jury what area you conducted the line searches?
Okay. So when we arrived, this is the funeral home across the street. We parked our vehicles here. And then the subject vehicle is over here to the west of the school. So we started our line search from over here and walked slowly towards the school. And anytime we saw any rounds or any casings or any other evidence, we put a flag there to mark it, so we'd come back later and take more detailed photographs of it. And we slowly made our way through the school. We also line searched all this area too, and around here.
So the line search was the west side of the school,
Yes, and also out here too.
the north side, or the northwest side of the school,
Yes,
the south side of the school, at
Yes.
least above this pavilion,
yes,
as well as you looked on the east side of this fourth grade wing.
yes,
And that was all conducted with line search.
yes.
Did you find any casings on the east side of the building?
No, we did not.
Okay. And so your testimony is going to be concerning what you saw on the west side and the south side, is that correct?
Yes, around here and around here. We did find some evidence. I think there was a round right over here. And then we also found something over here.
And were those fired or unfired?
Those are actual bullets, so the bullet was still on the casing, so it wasn't fired.
So those were two that were unfired?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
And did you have a chance to review the photographs that your team took as part of this crime scene investigation?
Yes.
And as you looked at them, was it a fair and accurate representation of the crime scene that you conducted?
Yes.
Pretender States Exhibits 85 through 149 to the defense.
What numbers are these again?
85 through 149. I didn't have that turned on.
Repeated.
May we display those to the jury, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
It's taking a second to load up. This may assist you if you're going through this.
Okay.
Okay, could we start with Exhibit 85? Can you explain to us what we're looking at here?
This is the west side of the elementary school.
Okay, and at the very top of the photograph, Exhibit 85, is that the south side of the building?
Yes.
And toward that top side of the building, y'all did the line search across there, is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you this time, not what you found, but what you didn't find. Did you find any casings of a pistol on the south side of the building?
No.
And there was a thorough search?
Yes, we did it multiple times.
Thank you. And State's Exhibit 86. Could you tell us what we're looking at here?
The same west side of the building.
And if we will, would you approach the TV and show us on the north or the top right-hand corner, if you see any vehicles, the very top right-hand corner?
Oh, this one right here?
Yes, sir. Is there a vehicle over there?
Yes.
White in color?
Yes.
Did you search all the way to that vehicle
Yes.
and all the way from that vehicle back through the parking lot?
Yes.
And were there any pistol or handgun casings found in that location?
No.
Thank you. State's Exhibit 87, do you know who Kirby Howell is?
Yes.
And would you tell the jury who he is?
She is our
She, I'm
photographer.
sorry?
Yes.
She's your photographer?
Yes, our full-time FBI photographer in San Antonio.
So does this document that these are the photographs that she took?
That's correct.
State's Exhibit 88, could you tell us in general terms where we're looking now?
This is the west side of the school building.
And is there anything specific there as far as red flags that you have marked?
Red flags denote anything that we believe was evidence, and you can also see a backpack there.
And when photographs are taken, are they taken in a series? By that I mean, do you start wide and then get closer to close-ups in general terms?
So typically, yes, when we see evidence, we take a long-range shot, so we see where it is in relation to the rest of the scene. We do a medium-range shot to get a better look at it in relation to the rest of the scene, and then we do a close-up shot to see what it actually looks like before we pick it up.
Okay. So with Exhibit 88, could you tell us where the photographer is standing and what direction they're looking?
The wall, if you're looking at the wall, that's the west side of the school building. So she's standing looking at the west side of the school building.
And that whole west walkway or that whole area there is fairly unobstructed, is that correct?
Unobstructed as in
I mean, there's
obstacles?
no trees? Or
No, you're correct, yes.
It's a wide open space
Yes,
until you get down to the very end?
yes,
Okay. And do you see any of y'all's red flags there?
yes.
Would you point those out?
can see one right here, there's one right there, there, and there.
Okay, thank you. And State's Exhibit 89.
Yes.
Would you tell us what we're looking at there?
This is a more medium range shot, so now you see a little more detail. There's a backpack, there's a number 1 placard. So when we do our search, we find what we believe it's evidence, we put a flag to note the location. When we come back later, we start assigning evidence item numbers to it to differentiate it from everything else. So in this particular instance, the number 1 was assigned to the backpack.
And that, how do you decide which number gets what piece of evidence?
It's sequential. As we go along, as we see, and we start documenting each item, we lay the numbers down in sequence.
And to be clear on sequence, we're not talking about when a shot was fired. We're talking about as a sequence when y'all found the casing.
It's not when we find the casing, it's when we start picking up the casing or the evidence. Because as we're doing the search, we could find a whole bunch of evidence and we start placing the flags. As soon as we start collecting, the first item we collect gets the number 1, and everything after that is in sequence.
Okay. And State's Exhibit number 90. Could you tell us about that exhibit?
It's the same shot except a little bit closer.
And what are we looking at as Exhibit 1?
It's a backpack.
And in general terms, what was the condition of the backpack?
It was on the ground open with the pockets open.
State's Exhibit 91.
Okay.
Would you describe State's Exhibit 91?
You see the backpack is open, but you also see, can I get up?
Yes, sir, please.
There's also a magazine with, you can see a bullet at the top of the magazine.
Thank you. And State's Exhibit 92.
This is, oh,
Go ahead.
I apologize. So this is inside the interior of the backpack. So you can see additional magazines with bullets in them.
So in general terms, this backpack was full of magazines with bullets in them?
That's correct.
And Exhibit 93.
Okay.
Would you tell us about that?
So now we're moving on to the next item of evidence. So you see a number 2 marker, and that's what we collected after that backpack.
And as we close up on it, does that show you what the marker is marking?
Yes.
And what was that marker marking?
There's a casing there.
And State's Exhibit 95, does that show a close-up of that casing?
Yes.
Turning next to Exhibit 96, is that once again one of these kind of wider views so we can tell where the casings are located?
Yes.
And would you tell us what exhibit numbers are depicted in State's Exhibit 96?
In this particular photo, mind you, this is again the west wall, and you see 3, 4, and 5.
Okay. And just to make sure, I think you've made it clear, but the fact that casing may be labeled 3, another one 4, you're not trying to tell us what order those casings were fired in, are you?
That's correct. That's not the order, it's the order in which we pick it up.
In other words, 3 could be deposited first or before 5, or 5 could be deposited before 3.
We don't know when the items were deposited.
Okay. And the last question I'll have generally about casings being deposited, that is at a specific point in time, is that correct? That the casing could have been deposited there?
Yes.
So that where the gun was 5 seconds before or 5 seconds after, you can't tell from looking at the placement of a casing.
No.
That is, a gunman could move from left to right, right to left, or up to down, down to up. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can't make any inference like that.
At some point, we have to also listen to eyewitnesses or witnesses to the account. Is that correct?
Sure, take everything into account.
Thank you. And so Exhibit 97.
This is a closer view of that, those three items that we saw in the last picture.
And this is consistent with how you photograph each of these exhibits, correct?
Yes.
You show generally where it's located and then close in.
Yes.
Thank you. Stakes Exhibit 98. Can you tell us what that is?
That's another rifle round.
And Stakes Exhibit 99,
An additional rifle round?
and it's labeled as as tent number 4. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Evidence item number 4.
Stakes Exhibit 100.
That's evidence item number 5, another rifle round.
And would you
A
kind of
casing.
point out where that casing is? And just in general terms, the casing that we're looking at, is that consistent with the other casings that you picked up to this point?
Yes.
And how are those casings all inconsistent with a handgun round?
They're longer and more narrow.
So it's obvious to see from an investigator.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 101. Could you tell us what that exhibit is?
That's another view. That's the west side. Can I get up one?
Yes, please do.
This is still the west side of the building, and this is the walkway going up to the parking lot.
And there are flags and tents, markers there for evidence, is that correct?
Yes.
Would you point those out?
See one here, you see one there, see one there, one here.
And in addition to that, before you sit down, do you see that a white car parked in the same place we saw earlier?
This one right here?
Okay, thank you. Exhibit 102. Would you describe that for us?
That's evidence item number 6. There's a flag marking where it's at, and it's about to be picked up because that's when it got its number.
And just to be clear, that's on the southwest side of the fourth grade wing.
Yes.
Stakes Exhibit 103.
This is a close-up shot of it. The casing, you can see a casing.
And I think we can close up a little closer, maybe. Could you point out then where that casing is? And let me just interject here. Of all these, so I don't have to keep asking, are all of these casings that you picked up then on the south and the west side, were they all the same type of casing?
The casings, yes.
Now, there were unfired cartridges, is that correct?
There was 2, I believe.
And they were not the same as these fired casings, is that correct?
That's correct.
But all of the fired casings were, in general terms, the same
Yes.
casings? Thank you. And we just looked at marker number 6, and so I'm going to keep up with that numbering system. Would you tell us what Exhibit 105 is?
It's a black glove.
Okay. And did you know the significance of that at the time?
No, it just stood out because it was in the parking lot by itself like that. So, we don't know what the importance of it is, but it stood out, so we marked it and we collected it.
And it's not your job to determine if it belonged to the gunman or a police officer, is that correct?
That's correct.
State's Exhibit 106 is just a close-up of that.
That's correct.
And State's Exhibit 107. Could you tell us what we're looking at here, the general area we're looking at?
That's the southwest corner of that parking lot that faces the west side of the building. And you see some flags marking where some casings were found, and then you also see the number cards so that we're about to pick up those the casings.
May I approach you? Just to be, I just want to make sure because it's not quite wide enough for us to know exactly where we're talking about. So let me just hold this up. And could you show us, if this is once again is the Robb Elementary fourth grade in the parking lot, could you show us where those?
So this is the parking lot right on the west side of the building. most of our attention was over here where we collected most of our evidence. And in this particular last shot, the evidence was around here.
Right here, kind of where there's this elbow in the parking lot.
Yeah, you'll be able to see the corner right here.
We can see the elbow.
Yes,
So some casings are behind the elbow and some are in front of that elbow.
correct.
Excuse me?
Did you say something?
He objected to leading, I sustained it.
Oh, I'm
Proceed.
sorry. Excuse me, Judge.
And I'll ask you if then the photographer zeroed in, closed in on these casings.
Yes,
So showing you State's Exhibit 108,
that's evidence item number 8.
similar casing.
Yes,
And State's Exhibit 109,
you can see where item number 9 and item number 10 are in relation to each other.
and State's Exhibit 110,
That's another casing, item number 9.
and 111.
An additional casing, number 10.
And would you tell us, describe for us what Exhibit 112 is?
This is a photograph of the same parking lot and the grass bordering the parking lot and additional rounds that were found, casings that were found there.
And those the what vehicle is it there?
You can see, can I point it? Come
Yes,
on.
sir, please point those out. And is there a second vehicle there also?
Yes,
Would you point that out too? Thank you. So closing in now, State's Exhibit 113,
that's a casing.
and State's Exhibit 114,
Another casing.
as marker number 12.
Yes, casing.
State's Exhibit 115,
Is it another casing that we found?
marker number 13.
Yes,
And State's Exhibit 116, does that close in on that casing?
yes.
Okay. Taking you to a new area then, that is not on the west side, is that correct?
This is actually on the north side.
Okay. And that has the next number, Exhibit number 14, is that correct?
Our evidence item number 14,
Evidence
yes.
number 14. Does that indicate that that's when y'all found that one?
No, it just meant that that's the next item in line that we were collecting.
Okay. And closing in on Exhibit 14,
You can see that's an entire bullet. This hasn't been fired yet.
and closing in on it.
It's a close-up shot.
And is the casing, could you describe that and any differences that there may be between that and the other casings that you found?
This one's actually black, and it also has the bullet that's still attached at the front.
And State's Exhibit 120,
This is item number 15. This is in the northwest corner across the street from the school at the funeral home.
and closing in on that, Exhibit 121.
You can see that's a bullet also. There's a casing with a bullet attached to the front still.
And it's a little difficult to see, would you kind of point that out for us? Both the cartridge and the bullet part.
So here's the casing, and you can see right here, that's the bullet part.
And that was evidence marker 15, is that correct?
That's correct.
Returning now to the west side, showing you State's Exhibit 122, would you describe what we're looking at here?
You can see two more flags showing that there's two more pieces of evidence that need to be collected.
And State's Exhibit number 123.
That's evidence item number 16, a casing.
And 124.
That's evidence item number 17, another casing.
And Exhibit 125.
Additional casings that were found, so we marked them again with flags and also with the number cards.
And as in relationship to the building, what part of the building are we looking at there?
This is the western side of the building. The air conditioning, those 6 units are on the south side.
So it's the southwest corner.
Yes.
And those exhibit numbers that we can see from that photograph, Exhibit 125, are
Item number 19 and item number 18.
and State's Exhibit 126.
That's a closer up view of it.
And 127,
You can see the casing.
Exhibit number 18,
That's correct.
and 128.
Uh,
Describe that.
a close-up shot of number 18, another casing.
Exhibit excuse me, bounce back. Exhibit 129,
That's item number 19, another casing. Just another close-up shot of it.
thank you. And Exhibit 130, excuse me, I was on 130. That's a close-up of it. Thank you. Exhibit 131,
Additional items that we found. That's still the west side.
and are we looking down toward the south or toward the north at this point?
You're looking down towards the south. See where the little metal gate fencing is? That's where those 6 air conditioning units were.
And can you read from where you are the evidence marker numbers and generally what we're looking at?
I see 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24.
Thank you. Exhibit 132,
It's just another shot of the same items.
and 133,
You see items 20, 21, 22, and 23. Now we see the close-up of each item. So this is item number 20.
that's Exhibit 134. Excuse me. 135,
That's item number 21, another casing.
Exhibit number 136,
That's our evidence item number 22, another casing.
Exhibit 137,
And evidence item number 23, another casing.
130, it's bouncing back on me. Exhibit 138
That's evidence number 24.
and Exhibit 139.
You can see now the casing for number 24.
Would you describe for us what we're looking at now as Exhibit 140?
Okay, this is still the west wall, but now we're moving northward, okay? So those 6 ACs that you saw are on the far end of the picture. Now we're moving towards the north side.
And are you able to identify any of the evidence markers from where you're sitting?
I see number 25 and 26.
Exhibit 141, uh-oh,
So now it's a more medium range shot of the items 25 and 26. Item 25, that is a casing.
and item 26.
That's an empty magazine, rifle magazine.
Indicating all the casings had been expanded.
There are no bullets in there.
Exhibit 144,
Item number 27, and an additional red flags.
okay. So we're back over here to the southwest side, but once again, this evidence marker means that's when it was actually collected.
Yes, and you can see why we're going back and forth is because it's in grass, it was rainy that day. We were doing additional searches as we were going. So as we were taking pictures, somebody would say, "Oh, we found another one over here." So we would backtrack to where we were before.
Okay, so that's an additional casing on the southwest corner.
Yes,
And once again, the white car is in view there.
yes.
Exhibit 145.
A more medium range shot of 27. There's your,
And 146.
and that's the close-up of number 27, another casing.
147. Could you tell us what we're looking at here?
You can see a flag, but you can also see like a red biohazard garbage bag.
And is there a doorway there?
Yes,
Is that the west doorway into the fourth grade wing?
yes.
Okay. And what do we see here? In exhibit 148.
Evidence item number 28.
And a close-up of that.
There's actually a bullet. You can see the bullet that's still attached to the casing.
So this was also an unfired cartridge casing, is that correct?
Correct.
Just have a few more questions. May I approach your honor?
Yes, sir.
Showing you State's Exhibit number 19, which is 20 envelopes, and ask you if you recognize your name as well as a description of the evidence.
Yes, my name is on them.
State on for Exhibit 19, Your Honor.
Okay, wait a minute.
Just for the record, State's Exhibit 19 of the 20 fired LC-22 casings that you recovered at Robb Elementary that day, is that correct?
Were there 20? I didn't count them.
That was unfair, wasn't it?
21.
21?
Yep.
Thank you for correcting me.
Mhm.
We offer as amended, Your Honor. 21 casings.
This one exhibit, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's submitted 19th.
Pass the witness.